There is. It's on Long Island, and it's based on Greg Mottola's life. He had a summer job there, and unfortunately, they've done renovations since he worked there. So they didn't quite fit the mold for 1980s. So we had to work in a place that had a historical license, or was, I don't know. But they had, for some reason, they hadn't renovated in a long time, and so they had a lot of antique, or what I've thought of as antique rides and roller coasters. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The ad at the end. Yeah, Kennywood. It was at Kennywood. Someone knows.
Was most of this scripted, or did you do any improv?
The script was so good, I didn't want to veer away from it. I think there were a few times when we just had fun and he kept rolling, but we really didn't have much opportunity to do that anyway because it was such a low budget. So like, the takes were the takes, and that it was pretty cut and dry for the most part. There were a couple of days when we got cut off. There were more scenes that we were supposed to shoot and we couldn't because the sun was going down, and we were cramped for time. I think it was a 34-day shoot, 32-day shoot. And
you ever actually had to work a shitty customer service job?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I'm unfortunate that I have not officially had a job like that, although there was one day in my life, and I genuinely think I would appreciate to have had to work something like that. I think it changes you, you have to, like, you realize how shitty people are, and you have to I think it helps you become a better person, and I think it's also an interesting character study, like, to be there, be around kind of assholes all day. But I worked as a barista for one day in Los Angeles, in like a uppity kind of yuppie area in Los Angeles, and they were mostly hiring immigrants, and they didn't want to pay, I think it was a tax thing. So I went in there and I worked my ass off for a day, but I'd never made coffee before. I don't even drink coffee. I don't like coffee at all. But I drink a mocha every once in a while. But so I was there for one day, and the guy gave me $2 as a tip. Not even him, it was like one of the associates. Took $2 out of the tip jar, and she was like, "Here you go," and I didn't get shit for the day, monetarily, besides that. And then the guy was like, "I'll give you a call." And I'm still waiting. 2 years ago.
Is there anything you can tell us about the script you're working on?
Okay, you can't tell anybody. Yeah, I mean, it all kind of came from, I was sitting with Charlene. We were trying to write this ridiculous story. Initially, this is like 3 or 4 years ago, and I think she's so talented. I was trying to work with her for a while after Knocked Up, or just like we were kind of trying to figure out a way in which we could be creative together. And I had an idea that was kind of thrown at me at like a Buddhist retreat. I'm Buddhist. Hello. And I was at a Buddhist retreat, and this guy, Jeremy Joffe, threw out like a number of ideas, and one of them was this guy who has a list. Kind of like Steve Buscemi in Happy Gilmore, who has like a list of people that he wants to kill, and like that was like the foundation of the movie. And I wanted it to be really dark and really interesting, with like him and his best friend, and him attempting to do all these kind of crazy things, kill people, and like building a backstory and figuring this thing out. And I thought it was, I mean, it's still something we might get around to. And then that died out, and then randomly she and I were talking about writing again, and she had a current revelation in her life that you should do the things that you want to do that make you happy, and be with the people that make you happy, as opposed to do the things that you feel are required of you, or that you need to do to get ahead in some manner, in a way that doesn't really profit your heart. Does that make sense? And so we started writing a story built around, I mean, it's going to sound a little like Harold and Maude, built around an old woman and a younger man, not teenager, my age, hopefully, and their relationship, their kind of love for each other in a platonic way, but this like need to be together more than do the other things that you think you need to do. So that's kind of the foundation for it. we're like 40 pages in, and we're probably 2/3 of the way done with the story, so it's going to be a short script first off, the first round. Try and bulk it up, make it muscly.
Do you prefer acting or writing?
It's a toss-up right now. I think I've been suffering with the idea of losing my anonymity, which is pretty gone at this point. Especially if Adventureland does well, which you know, it'd be great for the movie, and it'd be great for, you know, some of the people that I'd like to see move forward in their careers and their lives. But I do appreciate my anonymity. But I think that's why I started really thinking about just writing, which I've been thinking about for some time, but I kind of feel like there's no going back now.
Would you ever want to direct anything?
Only something I wrote, I think. I feel like I'd like to see through a vision from beginning to end.
What has been your favorite role to do that you've done?
I think it's still, you know, I think I'm most proud of Freaks and Geeks. I think I got so lucky. Yeah, that someone appreciated that I was a very strange person.
How old were you when that show was filmed?
8. I was 16 years old. For a second you believed me. I'm that good. I was 16. I just got in a car, which I still have. Yeah.
What kind of car?
My first car, I kind of want to keep it for the rest of my life and only have that car. It's a Honda Civic. I'm getting up to 100,000 miles now. I've been into some crazy shit with that car. I've hit 2 different things on the freeway. I've almost died, guys. I've almost died. I hit a paint can that was like directly in line. It was like a 10-gallon paint can. This isn't a joke. So I was driving like 90 miles an hour on the freeway, and a paint can just starts bouncing, jumping up, waving at me, and it hits the hood of my car directly in line with the driver's seat, like right with me. And had it been like a foot higher, it would have went right through my windshield. And then the second week shooting the show called Party Down, which is on the Starz network, we were shooting the second episode, and I pull in to set, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, what the fuck?" My whole windshield was shattered, and luckily it's shatterproof glass, so it just kind of stays there and like indents. So it just looked like, I don't know, it looked like a body had hit it. It was like in, you know. Concave, is that the right word? And I had hit a piece of glass, a mirror, that was something like that, about that big, and it was like a 1/4 of an inch thick. And I didn't. It just like it was turning in midair when I hit it, so I didn't see anything. Like it had fallen off a truck going the other direction, and it was like almost invisible. And then I just kind of see the back of it for a second, and I'm like, "Oh, there's a piece of newspaper in the air." I'm like 75 miles an hour, and then boom, like my whole car just rattles, and it like destroyed my windshield. Like 60% of my windshield I couldn't see out of, and the rest of it was so cracked up it was like very difficult. And I started to like turn, like started to get off the freeway, and I like look back. And there was 2 dudes driving. I just see them both mouth, "Holy shit." And I was like, that must have been crazy to somebody else. I couldn't see anything. And so like I was like, fuck it. I'm like 3 miles from work, like 6 miles from work. So I was like, I'll keep going. My car isn't dead yet. So I got to set, and like my radiator had been destroyed, and the hood of my car was destroyed, and like the most scary part of it all, as if that were proper English, was my license plate had been cut like a razor to paper, like just sliced a part of it, and that could have easily been any part of me. So I'm just lucky that it hit the way that it did. Good angle. I got good karma.